Hey everybody, Dominic Rubino here from Cabinet Maker Profit System. Thanks for joining me. How are you? Today we're going to be talking about a profit leak that a cabinet maker has that we found. He was in the group coaching course and we had a side conversation. We found this, just checking my microphone here, and we found this profit leak, which was pretty interesting because it's been going on for a while. He's in he's just a regular kitchen cabinet maker, does a great job, but he's not in a big city. Quite often people think, oh, Dom, you're only talking to people in big cities, Chicago, New York, Houston, Vancouver. No, I get to talk to really great tradespeople all over North America. Some in Australia and New Zealand. A gentleman from England is in the group coaching. Did I say England, Australia already? We've got people from all over and all sorts of different finished wood trades, right? Cabinet makers, architecture millworkers, furniture makers, guy that makes custom, beautiful surfboards. Fantastic looking. You should see these things. Woodworkers, right? Doesn't matter what you make out of wood. Wood is beautiful. And so they're listening to this channel, or they're joining us on the group coaching, whatever they're doing. Anyways, we're talking about profit leaks right now. And one of the profit leaks that is front and center is the estimating assumptions that we make. Say estimating assumptions 3 times fast, like I just tried to do. Anyways, we're talking about estimating assumptions. So I want to share with you a story that came from this side conversation, but that story ends in a $20,000 savings. So this profit leak has been in this guy's business for almost as long as he's been in business. It's 20 grand that's just leaking out the door, and it's such an innocent leak, and it can be fixed. You can fix it right now, starting on your very next estimate. Okay, now especially if you have your own installers, guys that are going to do the install work for the cabinetry you do. I don't think the surfboard guy has installers. I'm gonna bet he doesn't. Maybe he's got product testers. That'd be fun. Okay, all right. So let me give you the outline of this. So regular guy started the business as so many people in this industry do. He was working for another shop, decided he'd had enough of working for that idiot, so he was going to work for himself. So he started his own shop. And he's in a medium-sized town. He's not in a huge town. He's just in a medium-sized town. Good guy, sole owner, so he doesn't have partners, but he's built it up to where it is right now. So I'm just going to keep looking down at my notes here if you don't mind. So residential contractor. So what he does is he pays his guys from the shop starting when they show up at his shop, which is 7 a.m. That's when they come in, grab their tools and things like that, because they do the delivery on site. But they get to the job site at 8 or 8:30. Now, this might be happening in your company as well, and you already knew about it, or you'd never considered it. Whatever it is, now that we're talking about it, think about the impact. You might go, well, it's just an hour. It's no big deal. It's an hour here and there. It's the cost of doing business. Well, those costs of doing business are the profit leaks that I have been sent here to talk to you about, right? Those profit leaks are real. And if you listen to any of my podcast episodes, you might already be in the group coaching or the mastermind that we're doing, you're hearing about these profit leaks and how other people are solving these same problems. The money's just laying on the ground. That's it. You've got to go pick it up. Right. And so I want to show you where to look in the company to start picking it up. That's all. So listen, his guys would come to the shop at 7, then they get to the job site at 8 or 8:30. And what we did inside estimating is we look at, there's this section that I talked about. It's called Challenge Your Estimating Assumptions. Big words, right? What does that mean? Challenge our estimating assumptions. I'm going to take some coffee here. So what I want you to do is go get yourself a coffee. See, I just grabbed my coffee there. It's a prop. I want you to go and leave the office with your estimating form, format, or sheet, or software if you're using it. But I want you to leave the office. Go get yourself a coffee. And the reason that I always say that is because I want you in a place that you're uninterrupted, where nobody's going to bug you, where you can just do what you need to do. And this is a very important meeting, and it's just you and yourself sitting there. If you've got a partner, of course, sit with your partner. But I want you to piece by piece go through the very basic assumptions that you have inside your estimating spreadsheet, format, formula, way of doing things. Just like you did when you first started. Remember back when you first started, your big question was, oh my God, how am I going to estimate a job? How am I going to estimate it properly? How do I know if we're making money? All of those questions are very valuable. For those of you who've worked with me or listened to the show very long, you know that questions that start with how can I or what if are very powerful questions. Those are leadership, those are direction strategy questions that a high-end business owner thinks about. It's called the entrepreneur mode. If you want to know more about that, please read the book by Michael Gerber. It's called The E-Myth Revisited: Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. So that book is called The E-Myth Revisited. Maybe we'll put a link in the show notes. It's written by Michael Gerber. It's a great book. I've got a standard joke for that book, by the way. Those of you who've heard me talk on stage will have heard this one before, but laugh along with me. The E-Myth Revisited is such an important book that if you buy it, it's going to cost you $27. And if you don't buy it, it's going to cost you $27 million. It's that good a book. This entrepreneur mindset that he talks about, the way that, and you don't have to be a huge business owner. I'm not saying you've got to do 27 million. What I'm saying is thinking like a growth-minded business owner is the difference that I'm trying to help you with. I'm trying to show you how other growth-minded business owners see the world the way they want to see it. You might be happy being a $1 or $2 million business or $500,000 business. That's good for you. But I want you to be a profitable $500,000 business, $1 million business. That's really what everything I talk about, is how you can be most profitable at the range you're at and live the life you want. Go see your kids' hockey game, baseball game, see your daughter's dance recital or soccer game or music, whatever your kids are into. Be a dad that you want to be the husband you promised you'd be. Have the time to do it because you're running a company that lets you do it. You're in charge. You're in control. It's your company. You get to call the shots, and I'm trying to show you some of those shots. So let's get back to these estimating assumptions. Grab a coffee, just like I've got here, and sit down and pick your estimating apart from the top. Here's what happened when I sat with, almost said his name, when I sat down and had a phone call with this gentleman about his business. So he pays his guys from the shop starting at 7 a.m., but they get to the job site at 8 or 8:30. Now they need to come to the shop for certain reasons that make sense for him. Maybe it's different for you, but this was his estimating assumption that he found, right? What he was doing, though, he's only charging for on-site time. So he's saying to that homeowner, well, we're gonna charge for the actual time my guys are hanging cabinets on the walls, that we're doing whatever we're doing. And what he was missing was the hours of commuting. But his discussion with me was, but Dom, I charge for distance. I put it on Google Earth and I charge for distance. And he had so much per mile. For those of you in other countries, you might say so much per kilometer. But he was charging per mile, right? And that makes sense. But challenging the estimating assumptions allowed us to have a conversation to say, hold on a second. Why are we charging per mile? The business is not set up on a per mile basis. We're not a distance-based company. We're a time and materials and profit-based company. We just happen to be a cabinet shop, right? And so the change that we talked about, actually just today, the change that we talked about was this. We did the math on on what the impact of this, because it has to make sense to chase this problem, or there's no use chasing the problem. There's no use fixing something that isn't an issue. That's a waste of time, and I hate that. Here's the math. Some of you will have already done this in your head. Those of you who are driving or walking your dog or listening while you're skiing or water skiing, whatever you're doing, let me do the math for you that he and I did today. So he has 2-man crews or install. He figures it's an extra 2 hours per day. So 2 guys in the truck, in the van for those days, that's an extra $40 per day. Now he runs 2 crews usually, 2 of his own crews. And so that's $80 a day that he's losing just to get to the job site. $80 just to get to the job site. And so when you start to do the math on that, if they work 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, his employees are now working 250 days a year. With those extra 2 hours, it's $80 a day. It's $20,000 he's been losing this whole time. That's a profit leak. That's actually a big one. And so what a simple fix for him. It actually led to a much bigger and more impactful conversation, I think, from the end of that, which was we ended up in a discussion about, should I have my own in-house installers or should I have subs? Should I sub it out? Now his town is a medium town, so he doesn't have a lot of choice. He doesn't have a deep bench on subcontracted installers. Maybe it's different in your town, and maybe you want to keep them in house too. It's your call. But for him, that was the discussion that we had took us down that path about a really important decision. Do we continue to keep it in house? And if so, I just have to change my estimate. That's all. I mean, what's the impact to the homeowner? He's going to increase their installs. Now, I've worked with him and I've spoken to him a bit. So I think his average install is about 3 or 4 days. So what's that going to change on the customer side? If it's 4 days, which is about the max that he's on a job site, that's $160. You're not going to lose a deal for $160. You're not even going to win a deal for $160. If you are winning or losing deals because of $160, you got to stop it because you're trying to compete on price. And you are a great cabinet maker, architectural millworker, furniture maker, whatever it might be. And you deliver value, not price. We've got to get you into a different mindset here. So you're not going to lose the deal, but he's been letting that little leak happen every single job. So what I want you to do from here is challenge your estimating assumptions. Maybe you're only going to find $5,000 in your estimating assumptions, but what if you find $50,000 in your estimating assumptions? Think about that. Let's split the difference. I said 50, and then I said 5,000 at the low end, 50,000 at the high end. Just for the sake of it, let's say you find a $25,000 total annual impact of a profit leak within your estimating assumptions. So $25,000. What does that mean to you? What does $25,000 mean to you? Well, it means a bunch of things. Let me ask you this. What does 25,000 extra dollars in profit mean to your family? What would your wife want you to do if you had an extra 25 grand coming in? If you have parents that you're taking care of, many of us have aging parents. How much would an extra $25,000 help you take care of your parents? What about putting your daughter into that camp that she wanted, or some extra schooling or tutoring? What about your son who needs extra schooling or tutoring? Or, geez, I don't know, under the Christmas tree? Like, what would you do with $25,000? I'm asking you to trade it for a cup of coffee and 1 hour of your time. It's there for you. I've been a business coach for about 20 years now, and what I've learned is I'm not that smart, but I am process driven. Just break it down into little bits and try to hit singles every time you sit down to think about the business. Don't try to hit home runs. This started out as a $40 a day problem, or opportunity, I guess, right? $40. But when you do the math and you multiply it across a year, it's 20 grand. I know that this guy has been in business for about 5 years. Now, I'm not saying that he had 2 crews running it all the time, so it's not immediately 100 grand, but it's still a lot of money. And it's his money. He worked for it. He put everything on the line to go get it. And as have you, as have all of us. If you're a business owner, that's what we do, right? You put it all on the line. You have faith in yourself, confidence that you can provide a better solution for the people out there that need you. So it's not much of a difference at the homeowner. They're going to pay an extra $40 per day, but they're not paying it because you're just trying to gouge them. You're just trying to recoup the costs of having your crew come to the shop first, so they have all the right tools, all the right equipment, they're prepped, there's some project planning, then they go to the job site, right? For those of you who send your guys straight to the job site, maybe this isn't the estimating leak that you would find. I can guarantee you this: if it's been over 6 months since you last challenged your estimating assumptions, it's time to go back and do it. It just is that time. So, hey, listen, I hope that you found value in this conversation. If you like this conversation, go to the website. There's lots of free downloads there, but there's also an application button where you can find out if joining this construction mastermind is for you, where we talk about different profit leaks in the company. And if it is for you, just answer a couple questions, and then you and I can get on the phone and talk about it. If it's right, it's right. If it's not, it's not. Maybe the first step, just keep listening to the podcasts, but also that book that I just suggested, which is The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And if you do none of those things, just go buy yourself a coffee at your favorite coffee shop, but nobody can bug you. Turn off your phone. Book it as an appointment with a customer so everybody knows you're out. And just sit down, and I want you to challenge your estimating assumptions. You're going to find money. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to find money in the company, right? So you're going to find an opportunity, you're going to define it, and then what I want you to do is think about the simplest solution for fixing that problem, and then just go put it in place. When you're done, by the way, let me look at this. Estimating leaks in the course, because this group mastermind is a training course, right? There are 8 different profit leaks. So there's 8 different sections. We talk about estimating, we talk about customer types, we talk about budgets, financial controls, we talk about wasted time and effort on the floor in the office or in the shop, all that stuff, right? But this is just one of them. This is the estimating leak. I'm looking at my notes here. There's 22 different estimating leaks. And we just spent today talking about one, which is challenging your estimating assumptions. So there's 21 other ones that we cover all the time in the course. So all I'm saying is go do this, buy yourself a coffee, and know that if you found that $40, just like this gentleman did, you're going to find something, but there's other ones to find as well. That's what profit leaks are. They just slowly pick away at the sides of the business, and they're stopping you getting the money and the time that you need out of the company. All right, let's wrap it up here. I appreciate you checking in. On this podcast, I really work hard at bringing you the kind of information you're not going to get anywhere else. And that's because I'm a student of business as well, and I'm always gathering it in from different places. I'm very fortunate to be part of some groups that continuously challenge me to think in a different way, right? To take myself to places that aren't so comfortable and sort of peel away the layers and look inside and go, okay, well, why is that happening and how can I make it better? And so by taking part in this podcast, by listening to this, hey, thanks. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, because you're doing that same thing. If you have suggestions or topics that you want me to talk about, shoot me a note. I'm happy to. Those of you who've already talked to me before know that I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. I mean, that's the reason you have a podcast and have these websites and social media is not because you're trying to hide, right? So if you want to reach me, if you have a comment, as some of you heard that letter from Nico, man, did I get feedback on that. Nico and his dad talking about their custom business. If you have questions like that, or just shoot me stuff, I'm happy to hear it, happy to see it, happy to talk to you. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for checking in, and we'll talk to you soon. Stay tuned. We're going to keep going through profit leaks. I'll build a series here for you so we can keep picking away at these different profit leaks in the business. I won't go through all the estimating ones. There's no use now going through the 22 estimating leaks. 22 estimating leaks. I'll jump down and I'll talk about the next leak, right? So this profit leak, as I said, is estimating. We'll do the next one and then the next one. So I'll go through all eight of them here. All right, everybody, thank you very much. Go have a great day out there. And remember, the stuff you build, the work you do, it's pretty important. It's the last thing people see before they go to bed. And the first thing they see when they wake up, you're having an impact. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.